Hello. My name is Bryce Tubbs. I just want to come today to share how a mentorship student got to about $9,000 per month in monthly recurring revenue. It took about 6 months in this case. Sometimes we have certain stories where people, get to, $11,000 a month in 10 days, 37 days, XYZ. But I wanted to kind of share what a more natural progression looks like, just in case maybe you want to grow your business very slowly and you want to grow it very consistently. Because I know I've spoken to a couple people who want to do it like that. For me, just a background of me, I got started in my accounting firm in about 2015. And when I got started, things were a lot harder than what they were today. I didn't know how to do marketing. I didn't know how to do sales. I didn't know how to price my work. So what that led to was me walking around my city, literally on it's called a street called Main Street in Miller in Ann Arbor, Michigan, which is where I'm from. And I'd be walking around with like a stack of flyers and brochures and just knocking on doors saying, hey, could I maybe do some accounting or bookkeeping for you? I have a background in corporate America and I've been trying to start my own business. What that led to was getting the door kind of slammed, the proverbial door slammed in my face. People saying your price is too high, them wanting to pay me like 150 to like 200 bucks a month. And over the course of time, I had to develop a lot of methods to, number one, raise my price. Number two, figure out a way to have people come to me virtually. So I didn't have to go out and walk around because it does get very cold in Michigan, and it's just a waste of time if you're walking in place to place and you're not really getting, clients as easy as what you want. So I had to learn that the hard way. Now I share videos and have mentorship programs so you guys don't have to do that. So number one, most people when they're trying to start their business, they have priced themselves too low. So sometimes what happens is people come to me and they have like 2 to 3 clients already. But when you ask them how much money they're doing anywhere between 450 to maybe like 600 bucks a month because the clients they got were just too underpriced, right? And oftentimes if you don't know what to charge, it's not really your fault, right? Because no one really shows you this. Sometimes what people do is they'll go like on other people's websites and they'll like look at people around them just to try and get like a comparable rate. Now, the problem with that is that most people price their bookkeeping in 2 ways. Number one, they price based on what they think they can get. And number two, they generally price based on it being like a loss leader. For example, there's a lot of like CPAs and tax professionals that will offer tax prep, right? And as a way to kind of keep the person connected to them for the entire year, they'll do bookkeeping. But since they don't really have the bookkeeping as their main service, they don't really know how to price it. They don't really value it that much. So they kind of just do it for a really, really, really low price. And what that happens and what that causes for everyone around them to start seeing those prices, start copying the prices, because when people are new, they don't know exactly what to charge, and it causes the price to kind of go down inside the local area. Now, if you're pricing your stuff based on that, you always have to try and be around the same price. Now, there's a phrase in marketing that goes, there is no benefit to being the second lowest price person. But there is a massive benefit to being the most expensive. The reason why is because if you're going down, if you're like bringing your prices down, you're kind of competitive, but not really. And people start treating you like a commodity because they know they can just go up the street and get it for the same thing, for the same price, even lower in some cases. And as soon as someone comes to the lower price point, then oftentimes they're just going to, kick you to the curb and go with the next person. However, when you're the highest price point, it actually comes with a little bit of a reverse psychology. Number one, they think you're more valuable. Number two, people are willing to pay more money for people they have, like they believe has expertise. Number three, since people are willing to pay more money for those who have expertise, if they pay you more money, they automatically respect you because they see you as more of an expert, which makes your job a lot easier. Because one, they're not going to micromanage you. Two, they're going to trust the work that you do. Three, when you add value by telling them a recommendation based on what you're seeing inside the books, they actually take action and listen to it. Now that starts with raising your price and charging more. Now, generally, whenever I see someone's prices, most people can between 1.5 to 3x whatever their current prices are when they're quoting in a new client. It's just we underestimate ourselves. We don't really think we can get as much as what we can. So oftentimes, instead of charging the person, $750 a month, we go down to like $500 a month, right? So instead, just start trusting your gut. Whatever quotes you've had in the past, you can go and look at how much time it actually took you to complete your current client's books. And then you can see, okay, so what did I quote them? Now, the next time around, you should be able to go see how many hours did it take. Am I at least going and charging at least $50 per hour for the amount of hours that I'm working. Now, again, you don't necessarily need to charge hourly. You just need to know, based on the package you have, are you at least making that much money? Now, that's entry level, right? That's starter. That's like minimum. Okay, if you're trying to go and get like, $10,000, $11,000, $12,000 per month, you got to be priced at least at about $60 per hour is like what your average package price needs to break down to. 50 is going to give you, if you get 40 hours a week at $50 per hour, that's about $104,000 per year. Okay. But if you want to actually pocket that, you need to have some, spread, because there's taxes, there's, different expenses. For a bookkeeping business and an accounting business, it is generally very, very low expenses and low overhead, but there still are some expenses, and taxes are going to be your biggest thing. So you should be shooting for like 60, 65 minimum for your business. Now let's assume that's gotten out of the way. Okay. Next thing is, how does this person actually go and get clients, right? How do they actually go and get to $9,000 per month? When they first got started with me, the guy's name is JT, but he was at about $300 per month. He had one client that was paying him $10 per hour $30 per hour for 10 hours per month worth of work. That's $300, right? Now he had a pretty good amount of experience. He had been in business for about 2 months, and he finally got his first client. He was so happy. He finally got his first taste of income that was coming outside of his job. But I was like, dude, you got to charge way more than that. So we fixed his pricing, right? So we fixed his pricing, and he had his average package. His package was starting at $750 per month, right? Now, in order to do that, next thing we have to do is we have to go and find the people. So there's two ways that he was able to go find the people. Number one is by using LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, there's a couple different ways they can do it. So there's something called like a LinkedIn group. This is where a group of people are coming and they're asking questions, they're interacting with people, they are really moving and trying to interact and learn a bunch of stuff about a topic. In his case, he niched down to like the nonprofit industry. So he went on LinkedIn, he knew he wanted to go after nonprofits, he knew he wanted to go after nonprofit business owners. There's LinkedIn groups for nonprofit business owners. Now, some people might be asking, Bryce, why would I go to the LinkedIn group for nonprofit business owners when I could just go to a Facebook group for nonprofit business owners? The reason why is because on LinkedIn, if you click on someone's profile and you have a certain feature on LinkedIn turned on, you can actually see how much revenue and the size of the business the person has. So before you ever even open your mouth whether or not it even makes sense to interact with this person. If someone is, making less than six figures in their business and they have like no grants, no funding, no employees, they just got started a month ago, it probably is not, they're probably not going to be able to pay you $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month. So not to really spend as much time with that person. You might spend some time, you might interact and build for a future relationship, but ahead of time that probably is not going to turn into a $5,000 per month client. They might be a good referral partner, but at the moment you have to go in knowing that they're probably not going to be the person that can pay that much money. Okay, so that's why we're using LinkedIn groups. So inside of there, he was answering questions. And it can be any question. It can be accounting related, it can be marketing related, it can be business related, anything that you have expertise within that, either target market or demographic. Now, if you don't really have a niche, I personally like that because it spreads out the amount of people you can actually talk to. You can start building a relationship and you start building more of like a generalized expertise and a generalized knowledge around business. See, what a lot of people don't understand is, give me one second. What a lot of people don't understand is that if you're too siloed into accounting and bookkeeping and you can never really relate what you're doing to the business owner, it makes it very hard for them to, one, trust you, and two, actually take your piece of advice. For example, I had one student inside the mentorship program, and the way the business owner had written a check out just didn't really make sense to the bookkeeper. And she was like, you need to actually go and like void that check and then rewrite it out the correct way. And I was like, it was like a $5,000 check. It's like the business owner, if I hadn't told her, dude, don't say that, just figure it out. You have to figure out, this is just part of your job. She probably would have gone to the business owner. That business owner would have laughed at her and probably like let her go as a bookkeeper. That's what I personally would do if I was the business owner. If someone told me to go and basically like rewrite the check, cancel the check, go get the money back in your account, then rewrite the check, it doesn't work. But if you understand business and you understand this, it makes it a lot easier for you to kind of, number one, do bookkeeping in a way that makes sense to the business owner. But number two, you can add more value to the client. When you can add more value to the client and you can be in more conversations with that client, it makes them respect you more, it makes them stay with you longer, and it makes them refer more of their friends. Because what can happen is they can start taking you to different either events or locations where other business owners are going to be. For example, I had a client. We were helping them get a loan, so we basically had to do a cleanup for their books. They were a real estate they were real estate investors, and they were trying to start like a real estate company, and were making the move from single family to apartment complexes. So we helped them get the loan for that by cleaning up their books, making sure everything was in order, and the person actually invited us to like a real estate little meet and greet inside the local area. We got in there. There was these $1 million real estate investors just all around, and he would actually walk. Hey, these are the guys helping with my cleanup. These are the guys helping me get my loan. Hey, these are the guys who are doing my accounting. And it was like 5, 6 guys right in a row who gave us their phone numbers. We were able to build that relationship and then bring a lot of them on as clients. But it all came from us being able to talk about business, not just as bookkeeping, but everything, because, me and my partner have experience in the real estate niche. Like we, have some holdings, we have some experience with land contracts, and we just really understand the speak. We understand the lingo. We understand talking to specific people. And it makes it really cool that they can talk to us about a lot of different things. They can ask us, hey, what do you think about this deal? Do you think I should do this? Have you guys ever experienced something similar to that? And it's not just about bookkeeping and accounting. It's about business in general, and it makes it very easy for them to like us, trust us, and stay with us for a lot longer. And then we ask to raise our rates because either the scope of work has changed or our pricing has just gone up or we filled up. They're more likely to do it because they respect us and they want to keep the relationship alive. That's how you start adding more value. Now, going back to, okay, how does that translate back to going inside these LinkedIn groups? You want to be able to just interact with as many of the business owners that are qualified as possible, no matter what they're really talking about, like within reason. Like if you have no experience with what they're talking about, you don't really have to answer that question. You might Google and get like some understanding of it and then answer the question and then talk to them. But if you don't really know, like you can still stay inside of your lane. Just kind of stretch yourself a little bit further than what you would, but don't, start giving advice to like a business owner if you don't really know exactly what you're doing, right? So stay in your lane, try and help out, try and be as interactive as possible, try and really connect with the different business owners inside the space. And then once that happens, once you answer the questions, once they start the conversation, then you connect with them on LinkedIn. Once you've connected with them on LinkedIn, you can just start talking about, what are they going through in their business? What are their needs? How can you help? Who can you refer to them? Who can you send their way? What kind of clients they like? What kind of projects they're looking for? And they're going to start telling you that. From there, you can start really understanding how their business is structured. Do they have a CFO in place? Do they have a CPA in place? Do they have a bookkeeper in place? Do they have an office admin in place? What do they have? And wherever they don't have like stuff in there, you can fill that gap and you can make it really easy to, just have a natural conversation about how you can further help them. Now, once you're able to do that, it makes it very easy for you to grow your business. Now, he did that for about 3 months, and that's how he got a really good solid base, about $4,500 per month, right? It took about 3 months for him to be able to do that. Now, the second way that he went about getting clients is once you start interacting inside of those different groups, the owners of the groups and other people inside the groups that were what we call connectors or influencers started reaching out to him and being like, hey, you seem like you know a lot of stuff about the space. Would you maybe want to come do like a podcast appearance, or would you like to come on like they have like this private community. In this particular case, one of the influencers was like a business consultant for nonprofits, and they had like this private community of people who were paying money to be a part of it, right? So basically, what happened was every once a quarter they'll do a presentation, and he can go and just share some things that he learned, or some stuff that he knows, or some different ways they can account for all their books, some different ways they can make everything compliant, so they don't lose their designation. And it's about once a quarter he does this, right? Now, from every single one of these presentations he does, he gets about 1 to 3 clients from them, okay? Now, why is that important to you? Because there's going to be people inside of the online space, and inside of your niche, inside of the local area, who have business owners who are already basically attached to them or under their influence. That's why we call them influencers, because they have people under their influence. Now, when these people partner with you and tell you who to go after or who to talk to, it makes it very easy for you to grow your business. The first step with the LinkedIn groups, that's kind of manual. It does take a little bit of time for you to get going, to get known. But then once you're known inside that space, now these influencers start coming out of the woodworks and they start wanting to help you out because you've offered so much value to all these people and you've shown and demonstrated that you are an expert. Now they're going to help you out even further, okay? So once you have that, your goal and your job is to start going and adding more partners. I like to add between 1 to 3 partners every month. And it also depends on the speed of growth, right? As you start hitting your income goals, of course, you don't really need to keep adding more partners. You can if you want, but the partners that help you get there are generally going to be adequate enough. You just, once you get to your goal, just tell them, hey, for the time being, I'm kind of full, so I'm not going to be taking on more clients. But here's another person you can maybe refer people to in the meantime until I'm open again, right? But along the way, you can really grow this at the speed that you want, right? Because not all single partners are created equally, right? You might have one partner that gives you like 5, 10, 15 clients, right? You might have one client that gives you one client every 2 years, right? But the goal is to try and get as many partners as you possibly can based on the speed that you're looking for of getting to your goal. Now, this particular case, in order for him to get the remaining $4,500 per month, he only needed about 3 partners. He needed one who was that consultant, does that, every 3 months they will do some sort of presentation or some sort of like interactive thing with the community. Number 2, he had someone who owned one of the LinkedIn groups to put him on her website. So every single time someone was looking for it, the person's website said, hey, this is the person who's like the expert accountant for our group, right? So if you ever have a question about that, if you ever want to look for someone who can do that, go check him out. And it'll have like a link that went straight to his website and went straight to his like LinkedIn profile. And that brings in a pretty good amount of traffic. Then the third one was just someone inside the local area that knew a lot of like nonprofit business owners. Because I think I can't remember if the person owned a networking group or if they were just really deeply entrenched in the networking scene that caused them to know a lot of people, and they would just like be giving clients to them. So they probably sent about like I think five consultation calls every 6 months. Sorry, no, every 60 days. It was some like really good number. And then he was able to fill up his practice. Now it doesn't take a million clients, right? Sometimes I do speak in these like large numbers of like, you need 10 different partners. But when you're really getting it down and when you really know what you're doing, you need less and less. I'm just speaking to someone like, maybe if you've never gotten a partner before, you're going to need to get a lot more partners because maybe you just don't know exactly what to look for. Now, if you want to go and short circuit all this stuff, like and not have to try and figure this stuff out yourself, I just invite you to go ahead and click on the link either above or below the video to book a call with me to see if I can help you out. Okay, inside of our private mentorship, we've taken a lot of people, about over 150 people inside the mentorship program to date who have been able to go from zero to their revenue goal. So we'd love to be able to take you to that level. If that makes sense, I'd love to see you inside the mentorship program. You can click the link either above or below the video to book a call with me to see if I can help you out. I'll talk to you soon, and I will see you later, ending the stream in 3, 2, and 1.